Yeah, I know there's discussion.
I'd like to
We'll
call our meeting to order.
Use that hammer there, Dave. Come on.
Good chance for a quarter point.
Wow, that was impressive. Okay. We'll call our meeting to order. It's a delight to be at Indian Lake, and I look forward to Dr. Biselia's presentation. And then when Mrs. Heinzelman shows up with a bunch of kids in these in rows here, I'm really excited about that too. Before I turn it over to the superintendent, I hope that some of you were able to go to the district football game, the district final football game last Friday. That was very exciting. It was a really well-played game, came down to the last play, which was really sweet. And the band got to show off their new program that they're working on because they're going to go, is it the Alamo Bowl?
Yes.
Correct.
The Alamo Bowl,
At
they're
Christmas
going
Day.
to this January, so they're working on new material, and we're able to play that publicly, I think, for the first time as well. So that was a really, really great occasion. So with that, we turn it over to the superintendent's report.
Yeah, just to piggyback off Dave, if you have nothing to do Friday afternoon, 3 o'clock in Portland, Michigan, that's when the game will be played. So hopefully you can make it up. Let's pack the stands. I heard it's going to be standing room only on our side. So go Bulldogs. Thank you again, Dave. It's great to see all of you here tonight. We love coming out to Indian Lake. I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight and also everyone watching our live stream this evening as well. I'd like to begin by talking about tomorrow, November 11th. We come together to honor and remember the brave men and women who have served in our nation's armed forces. Veterans Day is a time to reflect on their sacrifices, their courage, and the unwavering commitment they've shown in defending the freedoms we hold dear. Our veterans have fought in countless battles, both abroad and on the home front, protecting the values that make our country strong. Their service transcends the military. It's woven into the fabric of our communities, our schools, and our lives. Many of our veterans have returned home to contribute in countless ways to our society through teaching, mentoring, leading, and inspiring others through their example of resilience and selflessness. As a school community, we are fortunate to have veterans among us, whether as parents, grandparents, teachers, or neighbors. Their experiences enrich the lives of our students, providing a living testament to the importance of service, sacrifice, and citizenship. Let us remember that the freedoms we enjoy are not free. They are the result of the dedication and bravery of those who have served. It is our responsibility to ensure that their contributions are never forgotten and that their legacy is passed on to future generations. We also recognize the importance of supporting our veterans, not only today, but every day. As an educational community, we are committed to fostering respect, gratitude, and understanding for the sacrifices made by these individuals and their families. Thank you, veterans. Again, we are super excited to be at Indian Lake Elementary this evening. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Principal Dr. Bisalia to get started.
I'm going to turn it over. This is Heinzelman here, so come on up. Get us started with the choir.
Thank you. Our 4th and 5th grade choirs, the members that could be here, have been practicing for about a month. And to follow up with your veteran salute, we would like to start with a song called Think of It.
If you cherish freedom, think of it.
more song to sing for you. It is our Indian Lake School song, so we want to also invite our student council to come and join us, or you can sing from over there. All right, let's go ahead and stand up.
Okay, and we're going to have our student council present a few things too. Is that okay? Okay. So I'm gonna do the slides for you guys, but Jack, I'm gonna turn it right on over to you. So you have to kind of move to the microphone, okay? So we're not passing it. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Jack Campbell, and I am the president for our Indian Lake Student Council. We are excited to be here tonight to share all that we have been working on at Indian Lake. But before we do, we want to thank all our veterans for their service. We cannot thank you enough for serving our country.
Hi, my name is Lena Burmeister, and I'm treasurer for our student council. Before we get started, could everyone please stand and respectfully face the flag with your hand over your heart? This is how we start every day at school. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for our Indian Lake Pledge.
Hello, my name is Autumn Beelan. I am classroom representative for 4th grade. We will now recite the Indian Lake Pledge. If you don't know it, no need to stress. The words will be on the screen. We at Indian Lake are a caring community of learners, where each individual gives an honest effort, respects all others, and takes responsibility for self. You may be seated now.
Hi, my name is Eliza Stocki, and I'm class representative from 4th grade at Indian Lake. We practice pause expectations, and every morning we remind ourselves and students what that looks like at school and in our community with the following statement. Practice kindness, act responsibly, work hard, stay safe and focused.
Hi, my name is Dylan Clausen, and I'm our vice president. Every student who is a part of our student council was required to submit an application campaign with posters and present a speech to the student body. After campaigning was over, our peers had a chance to vote for who they wanted to represent their class. This was a great learning opportunity, as it required thought and effort into what is required to become a leader and make a difference in our school community.
Hello, my name is Braxton Hurd, and I'm a 5th grade class representative. Last year, to raise funds for our school student council, started to sell candygrams. So each month, students who purchased a candygram receive a surprise-themed treat. Sometimes they are food items or tangible items. So far, students have received popcorn, airheads, mini pumpkins, caramel apple pops, and Thanksgiving bracelets. It has turned out to be rather profitable due to about half of our student body purchasing. We also receive sponsorships to support students who may not otherwise have been able to purchase. Hi, my name is Beckett Rhoda, and I am class representative from third grade. Every year, the Indian Lake Student Council puts on a holiday clothing sale where we offer a variety of Vicksburg and Indian Lake gear. Our student council members get a say in which items will be offered to all within our community and vote on which designs would be featured. If you are interested in purchasing any gear, please scan the QR code or browse the selection.
Hello, my name is Weston Hall, and I am third grade representative. With the funds we are able to raise from the Candygram and holiday clothing, so we were offered the opportunity to buy new flexible seating and other materials for students to enjoy. In the reading room, we look forward to purchasing more items for our school to enjoy.
Hello, my name is William Listinghausen, and I am a class representative from third grade. Every year in the month of October, students all over the United States collect pairs socks to donate to people in need. Socks are the most needed item during the cold winter months. In many areas this year, we will be able to collect more than 1,200 pairs of socks, which we proudly donate to Kalamazoo's Gospel Mission, South Country in Chapnaz, but October is not where it ends. In the spring, Student Council does a food drive called the Super Bowl to support generous hands.
Hello, my name is Willow Scott, and I am our Student Council Secretary. We appreciate this opportunity to serve in our school. We can't wait to find new ways to support our students and the surrounding community. Thank you for your time, and we hope you have a great rest of your evening.
Last bit from our student council. We just asked kids if they would like to share why they wanted to be a part of the student council. So we just picked one student to come on up, and you can share why do you want to be a part of the student council?
Why I want to join student council is because in student council I can share my ideas with all of the school leaders, and I can become one too. Also, I thought it would be a great position for me, and clearly my whole class thought so too. Yes, and I mean my whole class. And I know that it was to now, because being in student council is like having a second family.
Okay. With your permission, I think if we take a minute and we can enjoy some snacks for a second. If families would like to head out to have a reasonable bedtime on a school night with all of these kids, you are welcome to do so. But there's way more fun coming, so feel free to stick around if you'd like to. So a few minutes,
Yes,
is that okay?
We'll take a few minutes, yes.
Okay.
resume here, there are a few snacks left over after that little raid. But we'll go back to the superintendent's report.
Well, thank you, Dave. Just wanted to continue my report and start out by saying November is definitely the time to give thanks and reflect on what you are thankful for. Just want to let everybody know I am so thankful for our amazing, committed VCS employees, with many in the audience tonight, our dedicated students, many of them in the audience tonight, our supportive parents here tonight, and of course our greater Vicksburg community for always supporting our schools. I can't thank you enough. I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving season surrounded by friends and family. And again, I'd like to thank Indian Lake for hosting tonight, PTSO, everyone involved with the treats. We really appreciate that. And of course, we love visiting our schools at our monthly meetings, so thank you. Board, I've included a legislative update in your packet. Most of these updates are fairly small, as there's not a lot of action going on in Lansing, but if you recall, I did email you some information regarding concerns with the new language with accepting 31AA funding. And this is concerns that are being shared across the state with all school districts. These dollars, of course, are earmarked for school safety and student well-being, including mental health resources. I look forward to discussing these concerns in more detail at our scheduled meeting next Monday. And again, we will have an attorney-client privilege communication to review, and we can review that in closed session if the board so chooses. And again, I want to take a moment, Dave brought up the football team, but just to congratulate and thank our dedicated fall sports teams on great seasons this fall. It was fun going out and seeing our Bulldogs in action, and we gear up for winter sports, which, believe it or not, practices start, I believe, next Monday. Yeah, so we'll be in the gym soon. And just a quick bargaining update. As you know, the budget passed well after the deadline, and so we were able to digest that, and we've been setting up dates to bargain with all our employee groups. So over the next several weeks, we will be bargaining with VEA, VESPA, and VPA, and I'll certainly keep you posted on the progress of those meetings. And I'd like to end my report by turning your attention to the important dates. Coming up tomorrow, there will be a Veterans Day ceremony at Sunset Lake Park. Sunset students and VHS Chamber Choir, band members, and some scouts will be there during that ceremony. And this, as a reminder to parents, this Wednesday is a half day for students. We'll have PD in the afternoon this Wednesday. And coming up in a couple weeks, our theater department presents Little Women. That will be on the 22nd and 23rd in the PAC. Hopefully you can come out and see our talented students in action. And just a reminder, Thanksgiving break will start Wednesday the 26th, so we'll be off the 26th through the 28th. And then I also included a couple dates in December before our next scheduled meeting. The Toby 2nd and 3rd grade program, holiday program, will be December 2nd, and December 3rd will be the Indian Lake 2nd and 3rd grade program.
Do you know what time that Veterans Day ceremony is?
Oh, I don't.
The Veterans Day ceremony?
11 o'clock tomorrow?
11?
Thank you, Dusty.
11.
Forgot to put that on there. Yeah, 11, 11, and 11. And with that, that's my report.
All right, thank you very much. Reports and public inquiry, we have our Indian Lake Annual Report. Dr. Bassett, there you are. Yeah.
Well, you might want to move so that you can
Sure.
see. BYOC?
Yeah, bring your own chair. Okay. Okay. I hope everyone can hear. Okay. Is that, you can hear me in the back? Okay. I do want to just recognize the PTSO tonight for the snacks and treats that they brought, but they do way more than that, and we are so thankful for them and how they just know the vision and come alongside and help and pitch in. and create some fun fundraisers and some family events for everybody, and just so generous. So I definitely want to recognize them tonight. I also need to recognize my staff. I just threw in some of my favorite pictures, and they're all in costumes. so sorry about that, guys. But, we do have a lot of fun around here. And not a lot of new faces at Indian Lake this year, but a few. And thankful for them, and also a couple of interns. Not pictured is I get to have an intern this year who's here tonight. Her name is Kara. So thank you, Kara, for being here tonight too. That's a fun new thing for me. So thank you to all of our staff, and you guys all make this place so special. So thank you. I'm going to kick us off. The vision for Vicksburg Community Schools is that all students will graduate college and career ready. And our mission is to maximize the success and potential of each student. We do this through our multi-tiered systems of support. You've probably seen this graphic before. We want to make sure that we're supporting the whole child. And to do that, we're looking at not just academics, but also health and wellness and social-emotional capacity. I'm going to start with academics tonight, if you don't mind. Because I go early in the year, I like to sort of wrap up where we were last year too. And last year, our benchmark assessment was the STAR reading and STAR math. So you can see in the fall, in terms of proficiency, 72% proficiency rate for both math and reading. And then in the spring, you can see 77% for reading and 75% for math. Now, this year, I think many of you know that we have a new assessment tool. So our reports look a little bit different. And you can see ELA is the kind of triangle on the left, and then math is a triangle on the right. This is not so much proficiency as it is on track. They are on track for where we would expect them to be at the beginning of the year. And you can see that our tiers look pretty healthy. We're not top heavy. We definitely have kids who are going to need a little more support, and then some who are going to need more past that. Excuse me, our M-STEP scores, again, this has been out for a little bit, so it's maybe not new news, but just wanted to highlight every, third, fourth, and fifth grade in both ELA and math, when we look at our numbers compared to the state, we are outperforming the state average. I also think it's neat to look at the percent not proficient to see how many fewer students are not proficient at Indian Lake compared to the state. And we need to shout out and recognize our fifth grade. Fifth grade's a lot. They do a lot of assessment in the spring too, so it really took a lot of stamina for that group, and really impressed with those outcomes. So academic goals for the year, we definitely want 100% of our students to reach their typical growth measure. In our new platform, iReady, for reading and math, they also provide a stretch goal. So thinking about some students who maybe have more of a gap to get to grade level, we're focusing in on that stretch goal too, and using some tools to shore up that gap as soon as possible. At Indian Lake, our building goal, instructional goal really focuses around 4 things, so I'm going to dig into these a little bit for you. So formative assessment is kind of assessment in real time. It's how you're figuring out, are kids picking up what they're supposed to. So it's ongoing. Teachers and students are working together to check for understanding, and they're making adjustments in real time. So formative assessment for Michigan educators is a program that we've been a part of for a couple of years. Cohort 1 did that for 2 years, and then they wrapped up last year, and then we launched Cohort 2. It's been really fun to see this implemented throughout our school. Not everybody's learning at the same time, so that implementation is kind of rolled out differently. But what's been cool is that the FAME team has been sharing their learning with our staff, and then we actually have a half day coming up on Wednesday, and they're going to be really brave and share out at our district professional learning day too. Just, lessons learned and what's working and barriers that they experience too. Yeah, cohort 2 is really focused on learning targets right now, which are just clear student-friendly language so that kids know what they need to know and what they're expected to do, even in that daily lesson. Whole group and small group instruction. Again, this is not a new focus necessarily, just continuing to build capacity around essential instructional practices. The last couple of years, we've spent a lot of time, not just us, but as a district, on our Science of Reading days. Our grade level teachers are coming together to reflect on and think about how we can be implementing best practices when it comes to instruction. Professional learning communities. This is where we're making data-driven decisions for kids. We're looking at, what do we want kids to learn? How will we know when they've learned it? What will we do if they already know? And then what are we going to do if they haven't learned it yet? And the last piece of our focus is around student engagement. This looks like a bunch of different things. Sometimes it's kids graphing their own work. Anytime that kids know where they're supposed to be going and can monitor and keep track and be motivated by getting a little bit better and a little bit better, we want to do that. And also in our iReady assessment, this is new to us, but learning some of the reports that can be run too that are also really shareable with kids so that they have that autonomy in their learning as well. Instructional rounds is a practice that we are using across the district. It's basically you kind of get a team of people, observe all over the school to get a pulse on the building. And so this year at Indian Lake, we were able to build a Indian Lake instructional rounds team over the summer. And so then we had district members and Indian Lake members observe in 8 different classrooms. So it was really nice that 8 different people opened up their classrooms for us and just kind of observed and found evidence to support that instructional goal that we've been working on. And then we come back and we analyze it and we say, okay, are we seeing the things that we would want to see? Why not? Maybe there's some barriers that we can address. And then also what might be the next steps. So it was really powerful to kick the year off with that. We did that in October to kind of help us determine those next steps. We can do all kinds of things, but if kids aren't here, it's a problem. So we are still really, encouraging good attendance. I think when we think about being college and career ready, attendance is right up there. It's such a priority. So this is, last year, 93% attendance rate over the school year, 95% so far this year. We're about 50 days in. And then when we think about chronically absent, really that's if they've missed 10% of school or more. So I shared some percentages with you, and then what that means. So for those students who have 2% have attended less than 80%, that means they've missed 10 days or more of school. Okay, 20% have attended 80% to 90%, which means they've missed 6 to 9 days of school. Okay. And, that's not a judgment. People have to miss school sometimes, and that's okay. Here, the fair is a big one for us. There's a lot of kids that miss for the fair, and that's a really good learning opportunity, too. So, this is just kind of information about our attendance, but we're still continuing to focus on that. I threw this in here because the attendance conversation really starts day one at our open house. We try to kind of send a consistent message to all families about priorities, and one of them really is that attendance piece. So they're hearing it right from the beginning. They can ask questions. They can problem solve right off the bat if there are barriers in place. Teachers are aware of that right from the beginning. And we are going to be kicking off our attendance challenge here after Thanksgiving. We like to do this a couple times a year. We looked at our data and decided, okay, November, like Thanksgiving to Christmas, it's tough. You've got a lot going on, so let's do a little attendance challenge. So basically, we set a goal for the whole school. Usually it started at 94%. And then you can see each of the classes every day we post how, what percentage of kids are here. If they hit their goal, then there's a school-wide prize for every class that hits their goal. Maybe it's an extra recess or root beer floats or it's games or something like that. And then whoever is the top earner or top attendance rate for the whole school gets bragging rights and also the attendance trophy for the week. So we do this usually, like I said, in the holiday, between the holidays, and then in the spring too, which is also when we have our step, and stamina is hard, and it's really easy to just sleep in a little bit and not show up, and so we just put this extra little challenge and competition out there for kids, and we've had some pretty good results with that. If you think back to our MTSS Venn diagram, we have some social emotional things and health and wellness that I wanted to share tonight too. I always say the backbone of our schools are positive behaviors, interventions, and supports. So what that looks like is a lot of building-wide initiatives. So having common expectations, you'll see them posted all over the school, so that adults know how kids are supposed to behave, kids know how they're supposed to behave. It just helps the flow of the day and helps keep kids safe and focused. We're teaching those, modeling, reinforcing, acknowledging them. So, it could just be like, hey, I saw you doing this thing, or way to go on this. But we also have some pause tickets that we like to give kids too. And it's not the ticket really that matters. It's at the end of the day, it is that connection piece. But it doesn't hurt to get a little ticket, put it in a bucket, and then every week we draw 2 winners out of each bucket. They get to go with Mrs. Naster, who is a riot. Everybody loves spending time with Mrs. Naster. Go to the office, shop the pause cart, and take something home as a winner. And then we also do our monthly character trait assemblies, where we're focusing on a different character trait each month, and teachers are also recognizing 2 students or so in their class who have shown exemplary behavior, character trait for that month. And then, of course, we're always monitoring that behavior and those supports too. New last year, thanks to the innovation funds. So big thank you to Vicksburg Community Schools Foundation and Vicksburg Foundation. We were able to bring in a group called Playworks, and they specialize in best practices on the playground. And it's been a really cool journey, because sometimes you feel like something's off, but you're just not quite sure what. And so it's nice to have a rubric and the lens from someone who does it, who's not, living it every day, to give you some feedback. So that was really powerful for us and our supervisors. And that Great Recess framework really focuses on these things. I think there's like 20-some indicators, but these were kind of the top takeaways for us. So last year we really focused on just training up our supervisors, getting a team going, getting some common expectations and language and practices and plans to support students on the playground. Quick transitions, a variety of games, those kinds of things. And then this year, we've been so fortunate to partner with them again to bring in the junior coach program. And Mr. Cardosa is a big part of this. He's our PE teacher, which is awesome, because they can practice some games in PE and then take them right out to the playground. And everybody knows the rules, and they know how to set up quick teams, and it just minimizes that confusion and that kind of who's in charge anyway kind of thing that will happen at recess sometimes. So we have 3rd to 5th graders who applied, and they go through a training every month. And then they go out 1 to 3 times a week on the playground, and they are working with lower L kids. It's a blast. It's so fun. And the younger kids just look forward to seeing those kids in purple t-shirts out there who are going to play games with them. And the Playworks, the coaches are just learning so much about conflict resolution and leadership and, taking initiative. So it's been really fun to see. We're really new into this still. So I'm excited to see how this goes throughout the year. In the other box, that's some information from Playworks on what we might expect coming out of using junior coaches, but it's a little early for us to say. Of course, so many opportunities that students have to support their social, emotional well-being and their health and wellness. So just wanted to give a shout out to some of these, folks and programs. A lot of people invest in our kids in different ways. Summer services, we're looking at that right now and just like, how did that go? And gaining some feedback. And anecdotally, I've had many, many teachers come to me and say, I'm so glad so-and-so participated in summer school. I could tell they were ready to hit the ground running. So thankful for that too. And in the one picture, I don't know if I can, this one, older students who participated in summer services this year were able to do some problem-based learning, so really hands-on, which was a really fun engagement piece for them too. Relationships and service, I think you saw plenty from our student council tonight, so I don't think I have to talk a whole lot about this. But certainly the 5th grade buddies and safeties are also a big part of the community around here too. And then health and fitness, we want kids moving and active and healthy in all kinds of ways. We're gonna hear from food service tonight. We are so thankful for our food service team, making sure that kids have full bellies every day and can get all those fruits and vegetables if they need a little bit more. So, and just the mindset that comes with caring for one another too, that they exhibit so well at Indian Lake. And of course, incredible family and community support, through some of these things. I do want to just also highlight, I'm just going to do a little shout out for Mrs. Richardson here. This year, so this was the First Day Shoe Fund, and they did not deliver shoes to the schools. So Mrs. Richardson borrowed, I don't know how we say that, a vehicle from VCS, and went around and hauled shoes to all of the elementaries. And you can't really see her companion here, but she did it all by her lonesome except a little Pete the cat was along for the journey. So we were very thankful for her going above and beyond in that way.
Did she sing the I Like My Red?
Who knows? Only Pete knows. Only Pete knows. Okay. I'm getting a little long-winded here, but throughout the year, I think lots of people do this in their professional lives, keep a little folder of just kind words that have kind of come their way, or, sweet notes or whatever. So I'm sharing all this stuff, obviously very proud of Indian Lake and our kids and our staff and our community, but you don't have to take my word for it. So I'm gonna read a few notes, so just settle in here. This is from a 5th grader at our 5th grade graduation last year. Ready. I have been in this school for the last 7 years of my life. I started in Bulldog Beginnings when I was 4. Now I am 11 and in 5th grade. I just want to thank all my teachers, Mrs. McLeachy, Mrs. Boudry, Mrs. Peps, Mrs. Jamerson, Mrs. Schmid, and finally Mrs. Baker. Thank you for all the support. I will miss all of you so much. Also, some of my favorite memories are going to Kids Club. I am really going to miss all the plays and family dances. There are a lot more things I will miss. In life, there are beginnings and endings, and this is the end of elementary school and the start of a new adventure. So that's a student at the middle school now. And then a kindergartner on the 2nd day of school was just so enthusiastic about how much they loved school. Yesterday was a great day, and today was awesome. So wonderful. This is a student who came for work-based learning. So they were here for just a little bit to get some work, career readiness skills, and worked during lunch and recess. And on his last day, I said, okay, give me some pros and cons, like what worked well or what didn't. So you can see what he had to say there, which I just loved. He's not wrong, right? And I loved that he could learn about himself too. You know, he liked that the day looked different every day. I think that's a good thing to know when you're looking at what do you want to be when you grow up, right? So anyway, fun. He was fun. He has moved on. He's out in the community now. This is a note from an Indian Lake parent. You know, she had struggled the year before. She expresses how she was kind of overwhelmed with some things and was sincerely apologizing for that. And then just said, you know, I want to thank you for all of your efforts, for all the ways that you and the staff have been there for my son. Him being part of Indian Lake is his second family to him. He loves it there, so thank you again for all that you do. I thought that was a nice, I don't know, follow-up. You don't always know that people are really going through things. And I had a parapro share out the other day, thinking about the lessons that were learned the last couple years working in kindergarten and first grade specifically. Again and again, I've seen students treat classmates who struggle academically and behaviorally with such tender grace and empathy. I wish the world could learn from these amazing kids. This one's really hard to read. Can I read it? Let's see here. Okay. This is from a recess supervisor. So when I first started, it's not great at the beginning, I'm just gonna let you know. When I first started 3 years ago, the playground felt inconsistent. Different people daily, rules changed depending on who was there. The kids were upset and unhappy too often. Now, the same supervisors every day and the same expectations is a win. Josh, that's our PE teacher, Josh's leadership every day has been a lifesaver. Ashley has been the biggest positive ever. She knows the kids, she subs, and she knows what she's doing. Bo is a delight. He's another supervisor. Since he is becoming a PE teacher, the playground duty is a perfect transition and training ground. The kids adore him. He and Josh help oversee the football and basketball type games, and it's really working. We all have good relationships with each other. The same daily staff expectations, routines, and consistency have made all the difference. When we do the opening, which I didn't really tell you much about, but there's always an opening at recess so that kids kind of know, well, I'll just read it because then you'll know. When we do the opening, we give the kids the games, expectations, who are the supervisors, and what to be aware of safety-wise that day. And when we do the closing, it gives them a moment to take a couple of breaths and reset before they head back into school. Junior coaches are new, but it is definitely working. The younger kids love when the coaches play games with them. In taking the junior coach leadership role, I've seen better choices by them during their own recess. Overall, I see less drama and less behavior incidents that require assistance from teachers and office staff. We have had fewer referrals because of these techniques, such as rock, paper, scissors is the way that we solve conflict sometimes. Rock, paper, scissors for resolving disagreements. I've seen the kids go right into that for resolving conflict before any of the supervisors even say anything. I thought that was a really nice message that she took the time to share. I'm gonna not read this whole one, but just, wanted to highlight our new curriculum ELA resource came through and were just kind of helping me know what some look-fors might be in the classroom, and then followed up with this really nice message about all of the things that were observed just in 5th grade. They were in lots of other spaces too, but I just wanted to share some things that they noted as guests in the building. And this, I think, is last one. Okay, so this is a gal who's been a long-term sub for our speech and language pathologist 3 times now. And she wrote me this note after her 3rd stint, gig here, she called it. So she said, I had the greatest first day again. I wish I wasn't retired. I had a nice meeting with the ESI supervisor today, love her. The best was the school psych saying, you have no idea how happy we are to see you, and we hugged. Staff have been so welcoming. That helps with my mountain to climb. Because every time she comes in, right, she's got to rebuild her own system and kind of wrap her mind around all the things that have changed. I began my career in 1990. Were you born? Yes, thank you. Thank you. This is my best gig times 3 ever. It's you and the office staff. Unbelievable. Becky is so helpful, and Lisa makes me just plain chuckle. It's really unbelievable to me, to tell you the truth. Everyone has personally greeted me with open arms. I went into 3rd grade teachers to ask dumb questions to make sure I understood the schedule. It's hard for me to read that big old document, but they assured me and then talked about just how happy they were to see me. Relationships. It just means a lot when the load seems heavy. And that's my report. Do you have any questions?
Do you see your absenteeism? Is it a pattern at all with the achievement of those kids that are in that community?
Yes.
Attendance or lower?
Yes. I would say there's a correlation. There are kids who can definitely miss a lot of school and still hang, but they miss out on the social experiences too. And I think that's what I feel the most, because I'm not in the classroom with all of the assessments that are happening day in and day out. But I see when kids don't get what's happening because they weren't around. So yeah, I'm sure that there are some situations where that's really impacting, more than I'd like it to. Yeah. Oh, go, Miss.
So the coaching, that is just the sweetest thing. I think.
Junior coaches, yeah, it's awesome.
And I wonder, because my kids were, I don't remember what they were titled when they were in middle school and high school, to like take the.
Yes, like safeties.
To oversee the 6th
Oh.
graders, when they came in, just so they kind of had a tour. So I think it's gonna be really interesting when these kids do go to high school.
Yes,
And see those same.
I agree.
Junior coaches that are now.
Yeah, yeah. And one of those things on the rubric was and we've learned about it in other learnings too, that inter-age, mixing in and the power of that. And I would say it's hard to do. It's hard to do because the 5th graders just want to be with the 5th graders and leave me alone, little kid, and the little kids just want to be, hanging on the big kids all the time. So it can be hard to facilitate, but when kids have a role and a responsibility and are able to build some relationships in that way, it really helps. So, yeah. Did you have a question too?
Well, I did. So with the kids that are, I guess, you're high risk, not proficient, so then you guys do the science and reading program?
It's not really a program. It's just like evidence-based practices that we want to implement in instruction.
Same thing that I saw, I think it's the guy who created it, was talking about like a 3rd or 4th grader that's not proficient has a 12% chance of catching up by the time they graduate.
Okay.
It's so important. So
Yeah.
are those students that are not there, the 3rd, 4th graders that are not
Yeah.
proficient, are they mandated, so to speak, to go to summer school, or how do they?
That's a great question. So summer school is a district program. So yes, we have some criteria that kids need to meet to be eligible for summer school. And yes, so it is around academic performance. Some years we focus more on reading, just reading. So we might primarily be looking at reading scores, but we are also talking with teachers about their recommendations. So yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think the change Wednesday PD days will help with some of that?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I really do. So far, yeah. And because we just had one, right? And we also we're not going to do this every time this year, but we were trying to have those half days be when we did all the fun stuff, right? And then they were just real wacky days. So, but we did have our Bulldog Bash on the first Wednesday, which definitely helped with attendance. So, yeah, I do think it'll be better.
And then, so my 3 daughters, 2 of them graduated. One's a 5th grader, so thank you for your leadership.
Yeah.
Dr. B. And so I know who your 5th grade teachers are.
Yeah.
orders.
Yeah.
Nothing against third and fourth grade.
Yeah. Well, it took 3rd and 4th grade to get there. Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? Yes?
Question about PlayWorks.
Okay.
Is that something your PTO funds, or is that something that you fund through grants?
That is a great question. We have used innovation grant to fund that. You know, if PTSO is not a bad idea in terms of funding that if we needed to do more past, you know, our innovation grant opportunity. But yeah, we've used the innovation grant money. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. All right. Come on back up then, everybody. A little long.
Yeah, right, they're recording and they're gonna put it up on, I can't. Yeah, I don't know why. I think it's interesting. I started my medical practice in town 36 years ago, and when I started, I had 6 different women who had been one-room schoolhouse teachers who were patients of mine, and had some really interesting conversations. And it's interesting how we rediscover things that existed before. And so having older kids teach younger kids, or have older kids supervise younger kids, is a really old idea. And it's kind of fun, interesting how we're rediscovering, because they couldn't function as a one-room schoolhouse unless you had older kids teaching younger kids or supervising younger kids. And there's value in that, and it's interesting to see how we come full circle on these things. Next on our agenda is the school nutrition annual report. Sarah. And you also have a PowerPoint. We have it on the computer here, though, I think. So we can either go out there or we can look at our screens here. That's a good point. Here we go. For the board, there was a revised report that was sent out that you should be able to access on your screen. It was an email.
All right, our mission is to share the vision of healthy children so that every student is able to reach their full potential with the ability to make healthy choices at an economical cost. And even though we're still doing Michigan school meals for the 2nd year in a row, it's still important that we're able to offer snacks and a variety of foods that students are able to purchase a la carte outside of their regular school day at an economical price. So our focus remains that we provide delicious and nutritious food for all of our students. And one of those things is a variety of fresh fruits and vegetables offered at every school each day. So here's a variety of things that we offer. As I said, we are in the 2nd year of the Michigan School Meals Program, which provides 1 free breakfast and 1 free lunch for every student every school day. So we went from serving 24% of our students breakfast in 22-23, which was the last year that students had to pay for breakfast and lunch, to serving 50% of our students breakfast last year. And with lunch, we went from 55% in 22-23 to 78% of our students last year for lunch. Last year, we were able to implement a new pizza program at the high school. So this past school year, we were able to bring Smart Mouth Pizza into the middle school. So just in September, we were able to serve 3,801 personal pizzas to middle school students. And we'll probably serve around 32,000 pizzas this school year just at the middle school alone. So they're always coming up with different ideas. They run through the same pizza oven, but there's some middle school students enjoying their pizza. Another component of the Smart Mouth Pizza program is that they give back. So for every 10 pizzas sold, Smart Mouth donates a meal to kids in need across the country. So just from Vicksburg alone, we have donated 7,290 meals to families in need. So I'm going to take a minute to talk about some of the things that people think are not healthy that we as food service staff in schools have turned into a healthier option. So our students love Donut Day, and it gets a little bit of a bad rap. So we have made donuts whole grain, and we have reduced the sugar that is in these products. So all of the donuts that we serve are whole grain. They have very low added sugar, and they meet the strict nutritional guidelines that we have to follow for USDA. So, for example, the mini cake donuts with cinnamon sugar that we serve, 3 donuts, has 7 grams of sugar and 3 grams of protein. If you go to Tim Hortons and get 3 Timbits, you're going to get 12 grams of sugar and 3 grams of protein. We also serve a whole grain Long John, which is 3 grams of sugar and 6 grams of protein. But if you get a little Dunkin' Long John, 17 grams of sugar and 5 grams of protein. So it might look the same, but it's definitely not going to taste the same either. But it's going to be a whole healthier. The kids don't know, though. It's fine. Another one that gets a bad rap is cereal. And we just went to a conference. A bunch of my staff and I went this last weekend, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And Kellogg's was the headlining sponsor for the weekend, so we learned a lot about cereal. But the cereal that you get at school is not the same cereal you can buy at the grocery store. You can't even buy it on the shelves. So one of our students' favorite is Lucky Charms. So the one that we serve is 25% less sugar. So an average egg has 6 grams of protein in it. The 2-ounce cereal that we serve has 5 grams of protein in it. And the fun thing about about cereal is it usually brings milk along with it, which also has protein in it. The milk that we serve in school has 8 grams of protein in it. So if they have their cereal and milk, they're going to consume 13 grams of protein, which is more protein than they would get if they had 2 eggs. So it's a win-win. Less sugar, more protein. So cereal is not the bad guy. School cereal is not the bad guy. How about that? One of the things that our high school staff brought home from the conference, and I quick stuck this slide in, actually had Jessica stick the slide in for me, but is encouraging students. We don't even have to really encourage the students to take fruits and vegetables anymore. We've been doing it for so long that these 2 trays are trays that passed through the high school cafeteria today, and that is what students chose. So each of those students took at least 4 fruits and vegetables on their own that they are going to eat. So if you had a tray full of food like that, you would not be hungry at the end of the day. There's whole grains in there, so the one on the right is Alfredo, and the one on the left is a Smart Mouth pizza calzone. So lots of fresh, and then we also had the broccoli. And both the kids love broccoli. The next thing we were able to do this last year was we were able to install new serving lines in all 5 of our buildings. And the serving lines that we had were eons old. I can't even tell you, probably 50 years old, maybe when the buildings were built, I don't know. But here is these are the serving lines from Toby, just to give you a reference. But they all are similar. They have the Bulldog logo on them, and they've just been updated with a little bit of a new look. And this is our team at each of the buildings, and then on the left is our department secretary, Deb. So that is all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, I wonder, I think it's great that you're kind of fooling students into eating more healthy than they realize, but we should probably educate them as well that you're not going to get the same thing when you go to Dunkin' Donuts or something.
Very true.
And I guess it's kind of a commentary on the food industry that they have the ability to make healthier cereals and healthier donuts and things, but you have to get them special that they're not for general consumption, which I find curious.
No, you're buying them that way. Yeah, we are buying them that way.
Any other questions for Sarah, comment?
Sarah, there's a lot of your staff in the audience tonight.
Yes, lots of them. Would you like to stand up?
Oh, could you tell us a little bit, I've gone in for Strive mentoring at 7:30 in the morning, it's like the walk of the zombies in the high school,
Yeah.
but you have people distributing food.
So at middle school and at high school, we have what we call second chance breakfast. So students can come before school and come to the cafeteria and get breakfast. We also have those carts in the hallway before school, so if they're running late, they can grab it before. But they can also come between first and second period and grab lunch on those carts in the hallway. And breakfast in the hallway. And we are thinking about doing that as like more of like a between every passing, so they would be able to come to the cafeteria. So like more of like a third chance, a fourth chance, because it is super important that kids eat breakfast. So we want to make sure that those kids, and middle school and high school seem to be the age that they are just not, they're not ready to eat when they come to school, but then they're hungry an hour later.
Okay. So,
Real quick, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to Jamie, Mick, you, Deb, your whole team, because we have now gone back to the hard reusable plastic trays, which saves landfills from all the styrofoam that we were using. That is a huge one. So thank you all for transitioning to that. It's awesome. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
that's great. Any other comments, questions from folks? Interesting, we have second breakfast, it sounds
We
like.
do.
Yeah.
Anything for the kids.
All right, we'll move on to budget and finance report. Steve?
All right, two items to report on quickly this evening. The first one being the monthly budget progress report. And this would include activity for the general fund through the end of October, or the first 4 months of our fiscal year. And just make a few quick comments. Revenue on a year-to-date basis came in at $5,548,996, or about 14.4% of our projected total for the year. We typically don't see any federal revenue until a little bit later in the year, so that's why you see that being at zero. And then I would just point out that in October is when we receive our first installment of state aid for the month, and you'll see that on the state revenue line at just over $2.5 million. On the expenditure side, expenditures total $8,614,230, and that's about 22% of the projected budget that was adopted back in June. And I'll make a few comments on that as we flip to the next page showing object codes. And you can see that salaries and benefits are a little bit ahead of where we were at this time last year, and I'd like to just point out that the school district pays on a bi-weekly basis. So typically there are 2 paydays a month. There are 2 months during the year where there's a third payroll. And this report is prepared based on a cash basis. So October was that month with the third payroll, which fell on October 31st. When you compare to last year, the month of November had 3 payrolls. So that's why there's that little bit of mismatch there. And then you'll see that that will normalize itself in the month of November. Total expenditures, again, $8,614,230, or about 22% of the total. Are there any questions on that? All right, if not-
Actually, Steve, if I could backtrack.
Yes.
Could you just sort of review for food service, kind of how the financing has changed in the last 3 years?
Yeah, and I'm gonna,
I'm sorry,
conceptually, I ran out of the door without my computer tonight, so I don't have that in front of me. However, I can just say that after COVID, there's been kind of some changing patterns with regard to how food service is funded. It used to be that you qualified for free or reduced lunch based on income guidelines and size of your family, that type of thing. There's some other criteria but I won't go into the weeds on that. And you saw that in the participation numbers that Sarah showed. So, we would have been more like in the 50% range of participation. People would, if you didn't qualify, you could still purchase school lunch, and then you'd pay a published price for that. During COVID, the federal government stepped in, and that funding went way up, and so we saw our federal revenues go up. We saw the local piece dwindle to a very small number because lunches and breakfasts were paid for. In 23-24 and 24-25, the state of Michigan enacted what they refer to as universal free breakfast and lunch. And so we still rely on the federal revenue, but the state basically treats every student as being eligible for free or reduced. And so you saw that our breakfast participation went way up, our lunch participation went way up, and so we still see a significant amount of federal revenue. The state revenue increased significantly, and just going by, rough figures, last year that would have been about $900,000 of additional state revenue to provide universal free breakfast and lunch, okay? And so we still have local revenue, we still have a la carte, kids, I think my kids might do this pretty regularly, go through and get a second lunch or snacks and that type of thing. So you still see that federal revenue, local revenue, but it's at a much lower rate. So it's just been interesting how it's evolved over the last 4 to 5 years. And, as we saw this year, if the state isn't really clear on what they're doing with the budget, it creates a lot of confusion, and Sarah and her crew did a lot of work behind the scenes trying to prepare for every different contingency, but thankfully where we're at today is that we're back to the universal free breakfast and lunch. So does that kind of,
Yes,
is that the overview you're looking for?
Thank you.
Yep. And then Sarah, if I butchered any of that, let me know. Okay, next report item is just the schedule of investments. Again, this is investment activity or holdings as of the end of October. I won't go through this in a tremendous amount of detail, but you can see that the District's 2 building and site funds have investments. Those investments are restricted for capital projects. The debt retirement fund has right around $900,000 of investments. Those investments are restricted for payment of principal interest on debts, on bond issues. And then finally, the general fund has, it's down a little bit because of just cash flow timing for the general fund, but general fund sits at $4.2 million of investments. All of these investments are in pooled investment funds. They're like money markets, but they're designed and managed specifically for governments in the state of Michigan, primarily schools, but other governmental units as well. And in that way, we know that everything that that entire pool of investments meets state law and board policy in terms of what it can invest in. So these are very safe. They don't, these investments don't really have any variability in terms of their nominal value or the just the par value of what we have invested. They're treated almost like a money market fund. And so you can see that we continue to receive a decent amount of interest, although those rates have been declining. You can see that there are 2 tiers. There's a cash management class, which has a little bit greater liquidity, and then there's a max class, which is almost as much liquidity, but it just requires that money deposited there stays in for about 2 weeks before you withdraw it. So there's just a small difference between those 2 rates. We've seen over the last year those rates start to decline as the Federal Reserve has reduced short-term rates, but we're still doing pretty well. For October, both of those funds earned over 4%. I think we're going to continue to see rates decrease in the coming future, and that will affect those earnings as well. But on a year-to-date basis, and this year being our fiscal year, which started on July 1st, you can see that for those 4 funds, we've generated almost $190,000 of revenue. So just wanted to point that out. Are there any questions on that? If not, then that will conclude my report.
All right, no other questions for Steve? Very good.
One more. Steve, what is that money used for, or what can we use that?
The
that
investments?
money- Yeah, from the investments?
I mean, all right.
Sorry, Dave.
No, the building and site funds, those are remaining proceeds from the district's bond issues. So the bonds that were approved by voters back in 2020, we issued those in 3 series in 20, 22, and 24. And so we continue to have a little bit of money from those that continue to be invested. Those dollars and the earnings on those dollars have to be used on capital projects. So as we continue, the things that we've done, the flooring, the HVAC upgrades, all that type of thing.
Gotcha.
Debt retirement, those are property taxes specifically for debt service that are collected by the district. They have to be accounted for separately. So that money is earmarked for principal and interest payments on the district's bond issues. And those payments are made twice a year, May 1st and November 1st. And so that money that's money remaining after our last principal and interest payment, which was at the end of October. And so we just try to invest it to earn as much income as we can. But where those funds are, they're segregated because each of those funding sources is restricted. With the exception being the general fund, that's just basically cash reserves that the district has on hand. And that balance goes up and down throughout the year depending on when the state pays, when we receive federal funding through KRESA, property taxes, but we pay payroll throughout the year and all that type of thing. So those dollars, general fund dollars, are really restricted only for what's allowed for in the budget, state law, and that type of thing, but unrestricted relative to the other sources that I talked about. Does that make sense, or?
No, but
No?
I'll think about
Do you,
it.
I mean, I can,
Thank you.
yep, we can talk more about it too, at your convenience. So.
Well, the beauty of investing from the bond funds is the cost of construction and supplies has gone up. You pass these issues years ahead, and then you project what you can do with the money. And this helps mitigate some of those inflationary costs in lumber or flooring or whatever you're purchasing.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, anything else? Very good. Next portion is our audience portion for public comment. Meetings of the board are open to the public. It is time the board conducts the business of governing the school system in the public arena. This is not intended as a meeting with the public with ongoing dialogue. Staff may follow up with you regarding issues raised during comment time. Please exercise decorum and respect laws regarding privacy and defamation. Please do not refer to students by name. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. We have 4 speakers, and I hand the gavel to Tamara because she'll do the timing so that I can pay attention. And she'll give you a tap when you have 10 seconds to go, and then double gavel you when your allotted time is up. And we have 4 speakers. The first is Melanie Wren, and where do we want her to come here? That's okay, yes.
Hi, everyone. My name's Melanie. I have 2 kids that up until recently attended Toby. I'm coming before you and the board today to shed light on an incident that occurred Monday, October 6th at Toby.
Excuse me, could you slow down a little bit, please? I can't understand you.
Sure. A public letter was sent out painting a picture of a young student bringing ammunition to school for show and tell. And this is only a partial truth to what actually happened. An upper elementary student that had been bullying my daughter for 2 to 3 years brought multiple rounds of live ammunition to school. He told her, and I quote, If I get my hands on a gun, you would be at the top of my kill list. The school talks about see something, say something, and she did. My daughter and a witness to the threat told 2 teachers and the principal that day. The Toby way is fundamental. The B in Toby stands for be responsible. When the administration had the chance to be responsible, they failed not once but 3 times. 1, they didn't report the police or threat to the police when they came to retrieve the bullets that day. Why? Isn't that protocol? 2, they never notified us, the parents, of a death threat concerning our child. Why? Isn't that policy? Haven't we earned that basic respect? No one reassured her of her safety, and she spent the rest of the day thinking that she was going to be killed. I was reassured by the administration that my daughter was safe and cared about, but then immediately they put out a public letter misleading the parents and falsely stating that the school followed policy and protocol. When I questioned why omit the threat, I was told it was a communications team decision. All the warning signs are there of a parent's worst nightmare. Unfortunately, due to the lack of honesty from the administration, we chose to leave Vicksburg this year for the safety of our children. We love living here. I loved being part of the PTO, and we absolutely love the community. We are fortunate enough to be able to find alternative education means for our kids, but no, some families won't have that same option. What do they do when they're put in this kind of situation? Their hands would be tied. We haven't heard from anyone in the administration in over a month regarding whether it's safe for our kids to return to the district in the future. We were told we were not entitled to that information when asked if the child was returning to school. We were left in the dark then, and we're left in the dark now. We're not thirsty for information. We're concerned parents. It seems that the reputation of the district is placed at a higher value than our children's safety or parental communication. I want to teach my kids to uphold honesty, morality, and integrity. See something, say something applies to everyone, including the adults. So I'm here to let the parents know what actually happened. Today, we're asking the administration to do the right thing, to take accountability for the mistakes made, protect our kids, be completely honest, and provide due answers to concerned parents, and to please stop leaving the parents intentionally in the dark. Thank you.
Our second speaker is Keith Wren.
Hi, Board. Keith Wren, father of sorry, not used to this. As you already heard from my wife, my daughter received a death threat at Toby, and the administration failed. As a parent, we have a basic expectation that when we send our children to school, they will be in a safe learning environment, and if for whatever reason that safety is broken, we as parents will be notified. This is a basic communication. A 2-minute phone call would have sufficed. Something like, hey, there's an incident at school, here's what I can tell you, and we are investigating it. Instead, this is what I heard from my daughter at 4 o'clock picking her up. Classmate brought bullets to school and said that she would be at the top of his kill list. Our family is left with that. The school is closed for the day, and we can't talk to anyone in the administration face to face. My wife emails the principal and gets scolded as if it's not a big deal and is told to be a team player, not an adversary. That's an absolutely ridiculous response. A meeting with the principal and the superintendent did nothing but make them feel better as they paid lip service. Both of those meetings left us with more questions than answers, apologies, and understanding that they are investigating the incident. All that did was waste our time and leaves my families with a false sense of security. I want to make it abundantly clear, I'm not against anybody here. But when it comes to my children's safety, other children's safety, that's priority for every parent. Mr. O'Neill and Mr. Goss, you both met with me and my daughter that Friday morning and assured me that you two were at the forefront of getting this situation handled and that you deeply cared. You also assured my daughter that she did the right thing. That was from Mr. O'Neill. Principal Dygert, Thank you for being the only one to acknowledge that an actual threat was made. However, since then, we haven't heard anything since that last meeting regarding any type of resolution. My daughter feels like she is forgotten about. When did we start punishing or forgetting about the victim or only person implementing see something, say something? One last statement. If your actions don't live up to your words, then you have nothing to say.
Our third person who signed to speak, Kate Huntington.
My name is Kate Huntington, and I'm here tonight as a parent and community member who cares deeply about the safety and well-being of every student in Vicksburg schools. I want to speak specifically about Toby Elementary and how bullying incidents are being handled. My child has experienced bullying that began in kindergarten. While most of the incidents happened then, this year things escalated. Out of 4 physical aggressive incidents, 2 involved choking. That's not minor, that's serious. One of those incidents occurred on the playground. We weren't called, we were notified by email. That alone was upsetting. But when we met with the principal, we learned he wasn't even aware that our child had been choked until we brought it to his attention. In that same meeting, he told us he didn't consider choking to be assault. Later, when we met with the district leadership, we were told that they weren't blaming our child, but that our child may have triggered the other student. That kind of language, even if unintentional, felt like a subtle shift of responsibility away from the student who caused harm. To be fair, communication with both the building and district levels have been generally responsive, but has also felt consistently reactive, not proactive. We have had to initiate most of the conversations, ask the hard questions, and push for clarity. That's exhausting as a parent, especially when your child's safety is on the line. We meet with leadership later this week, and a safety plan has been created but still has not been finalized. And in the meantime, we're left trying to reassure our child that school is a safe place while not feeling entirely confident in that ourselves. I'm asking the board, how many bullying or aggressive behavior incidents have been reported at Toby this year? How does that compare to previous years? Are investigations being completed according to policy, and are parents being properly informed? District Policy 5517.01 outlines clear steps, but based on our experience, I'm not sure those steps are being followed consistently. I'm not here to place blame. I'm here to ask for accountability, transparency, and a renewed commitment to student safety. Every child deserves to feel safe at school. That's the standard we should expect and the one we must uphold.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to make any comment? Do you want to make any comment? Okay. Our final speaker is Mr. Dusty Morris.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dusty Morris. I'm the choir teacher, and I'm the VEA president as well. And I'd like to share this month's examples of our members performing Vicksburg Excellence in Achievement. So this is from Kelly Christensen, who is a teacher in our Outdoor Education Center. Our 5th graders finished the season by learning about our watershed. They created a land model and made it rain to see how water travels through it. The students' favorite part of the day is a walk through the woods down to the channel, where they observed in real life how the water moves in a watershed. Tiffany Sadowski would like to share about Emily Duncan. This is at Toby Elementary. Each Monday after school, Emily hosts a crochet club. This involves 27 5th grade students who signed up to learn how to crochet. She provides them snacks, yarn, hooks, and fun patterns for the kids to try. They're making all sorts of things, including their own stuffed animals. A few of them struggle academically, but have found their niche in the crochet club, and it's wonderful to see how they've learned that they can do hard things, how good that's been for their self-esteem. At Sunset Elementary, Amanda Swan, counselor, has been working hard to get students fitted for snow gear in partnership with Warm Kids. And students across the district are partnering with South County Services to run an enormous food drive. Allie Lammers and National Honor Society at VHS is spearheading that, and all of the buildings this year are participating. Thank you, Kevin, for mentioning the chamber singers and the band members participating at the local VFW's Veterans Day service tomorrow. And also, as Dave and Kevin mentioned, Coach Tom Marquez is very proud of his Vicksburg Bulldogs and finally beating a Three Rivers rival. And just wanted to point out, it is our first
Twice
ever.
this year.
Twice. Well, yes. But finally beating them for
True.
their first ever district championship win. So, thank you for listening.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I just want to say that certainly we all take safety issues very seriously. We can't really, in a public meeting, talk about specific situations because of the privacy laws involved. We hear you, and I know our administration is working with these families in these situations. Next item on our agenda is approval of the board minutes. We have several board minutes to approve, and we can have if you would like to take all three of them, minutes from October 13, October 14, and October 20.
Move approval. Second.
Moved by Stephanie, second by Tina. Any additions, corrections, comments? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Item 4B is the first reading approval of the following policies. I think you got emails today. Originally, the agenda had 6 policies. It's now 5. One of those was removed. And so we have policies for B1 through B5. And if the board so chooses, we can handle that in aggregate if you would like.
So moved.
Moved by Tina, supported by Rick. Any comment, questions? Okay, so with a roll call vote, Stephanie?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
And yes. And so motion carries, and with that, we will be adjourned.